Today is May 29th, 2020. I would like to welcome, oh, by the way, let me take this out since I'm not using a headphone. I would like to welcome each and every one of you to the Abundance Community Coin presentation. I was very heartened by the bill that has been sponsored by our Prime Minister, the Honorable Gaston Brown, with regards to cryptocurrency in Antigua. It is one of those things that are basically out of government control because government cannot control who goes on the internet. They will not be able to control cryptocurrency as they want to control it. I can tell you, it is the hardest thing for them to control, which is cryptocurrency. And so they can control it to a point, but in terms of control it in its entirety, cryptocurrency is bigger than any government. And so I want to welcome each and every one of you to the Abundance Community coin presentation. It was Zig Ziglar that says, you are where you are who you are because of what have entered your mind. The way in which we were conditioned. You know, at one time, everybody had that notion that government is the beginning and the end all when it comes to work. And so we were, as it were, even by our parents, were conditioned to get a good education so that you can be employed by the government because you're looking for a security part, you're looking for pension. And so I could remember when I quit my government job as a health inspector some moons ago. My mother almost freaked out. How dare you? Because that was the mindset. I am trying to elucidate what Zig Ziglar is saying, that we are who we are and we are where we are as a people, both in the way we think, in our finances, in our social influence, all by what has entered our mind. But the good thing about that, because I've always said that nothing is permanent, and so you can now change who you are and where you go from here by what you are now allowed to go into your minds. Because you cannot think above your own capacity. It was Earl Nightingale that says, and this is the law of compensation. The law of compensation. Earl Nightingale says, the monies that you will receive in this life will always be in direct ratio for the demand for what you do, your ability to do it well, and the difficulty in replacing you. That is what Earl Nightingale says. Nothing more, nothing less. So whatever you are receiving in life, you are the sum total of what you're receiving. If you're receiving $200 a month US, $400 a month US, $500 a month US, $1,000 a month US, you are the sum total of what you are receiving. And so if you don't like what you're receiving, do something about it. Do something about it. And most of the time, why we don't do anything about it is because we are living in another one's expectation. We are living in another one's shadow. We are living for another one's confirmation and blessing and approval. And so we stay in the box that society puts us in. And because we want to be comfortable, we stay in the box and suffer. And suffer. What is that mission, vision, slogan, philosophy, and social programs? What role will they play in the blue economy? You know, I went over the evolution of things in the industrial world, how they classify the different era from the mid 18th century down to the 21st century, where we started with the steam engine locomotives. The second era, we had the evolution of gas and oil, electricity. And then the third is informatics, telecommunication, the introduction of computers, the Internet of Things. Now we are at the fourth industrial revolution, which is robotics, artificial intelligence, the cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, of which will revolutionize the way we see money and the way wealth are going to be created. I often says that in the 70s and the 80s, our millionaires came from the mom and pop shops. In the 70s and the 80s. In the 90s and the 20s, we had the billionaires came out of oil, gas, technology, the Silicon Valley fellows, the Yahoo, the YouTube, you know, the IBM, the Microsoft, you know, the billionaires came out of the oil and the tech. The trillionaires will come out of tech and cryptocurrency, powered by blockchain technology. There is where we're going. And so cryptocurrency, may I say to you, cryptocurrency doesn't give, excuse my language, a damn who take note or who doesn't take note. It doesn't care. It's just like your cell phone or the internet. Whether you learn or you do not learn, it only makes your job and life more difficult. That's all. When you fail, when you choose to remain ignorant, you only make your life difficult and that of your children. And so right now, if you want a job and you don't know anything about computers, it's very difficult for you to be positioned where you can really make money. Now, what is that mission? Our mission in the Abundance Community Coin is this coin to be the alternate financial solution that every boy, every girl, every man, every woman hold this coin in their hands, because we know that it will appreciate in value sooner rather than later. And some of you who are here with me would have seen the chart, the progression, as I have already stated there, what Bitcoin was in 2010 and what it is today. And had we bought $15 worth of Bitcoin 10 years ago, what we would have become today. A coin that the whole globe was calling it a fake. They can't call it a fake anymore. And so our mission is to address the debt, the Afro-Caribbean debt to China, because China is not our friend. The government would not like me to say this, but China is politician friends, not the people's friend, because their policy and their terms on their loans are not people friendly. If we continue for the next 10 years, taking China, a matter of fact, their countries now in Africa are basically in a crisis mode and are on the verge of colonization by China. That's what it is. All because of inept leaders. Leaders that basically look after themselves. First, second, and third. That's what they do. They look after themselves. That's why Putin, President Putin, allegedly called Africa a burial ground. That's what he does. He called Africa a burial ground. And the question he posed to Africans around the world, people of color around the world, can anyone develop a cemetery? And why he said it is because as soon as the African begin to make some money and they're politician, they vacation in America, they go to hospitals in Europe, they send their children to the school in the West because the schools in Africa are no good for them. The health facilities are no good for them. They bank their monies in Switzerland, but when they die, they want to come home to Africa to be buried. And that's why Putin posed the question, can anyone develop a cemetery? And so TAC's vision is to address inequality, to create meaningful economic channels to bridge Africa to the diaspora, Europe, the Americans, the Americas, and to see the unification of Africa as one nation. That's what we want. A united nation of Africa, and it can be done. And so we, the Tiashans, we will buy back the debt. We will settle the Afro-Caribbean debt to China. We, the children of Africa, will hold on to the assets because they have to pay it back. It's not a free meal. And so if they default now, China takes the airport, China takes the seaport, China takes all the good lands. And so if they default with TAC, we will control what China now is looking to control or is controlling. The gold fields, the diamond fields, the oil fields. That is what China is now doing in Africa. All the precious minerals, all the assets in the Caribbean and in Africa. China makes sure that they hold onto our most valuable assets. That is why when they don't have no problem lending you money to develop your ports, your airports, because those are your most valuable assets. And when you cannot pay, they take over. They are not fooled. And the thing about China, they are so they are so evil that they give you the loan. Can you imagine? They give you a loan and they still providing the company and they control the money, but you have to pay it back. They're sending their people, they're holding the money, And so your people are not benefiting from these developments. You're only saddled with a debt. That's all. And so our slogan is one tack, one child, one youth, one tack. Every tack, every youth, every child must have a tack. Our philosophy, together we can, and together we will. Our social programs are what will really amplify what tack really is in terms of our Afro Caribbean International Musical and Trade Festival and our Afro Caribbean Cup of Nations. These programs, the first will be held in Nigeria, the second will be held in a country in the Caribbean. And so what we're now doing in TAC is to raise the 2.5 million US to certify the coin in the market. The TAC is already a registered company, registered and incorporated in the Caribbean and in Nigeria. We are now certifying the coins. You are now invited to invest in our social programs, and you will receive basically the amount of TAC tokens based on your investment. We also have TAC Rollback Malaria Program. Malaria kills over 3,000 children daily in Africa. We cannot allow that to happen. It's an atrocity and an evil act that is allowed to be perpetrated, because malaria, we don't know what malaria is here. And so it is somebody's profiting from the malaria deaths in Africa. Africa does not need the world. The world needs Africa. And so we have to come together as her sons and daughters on a platform. We cannot talk anymore. We have heard too many talk shop. This is the time for action. And cryptocurrency have shown us what we can do in the blue economy. Cryptocurrency showed us what we can do in the blue economy. And so we reference to Bitcoin and why the blue economy will create millionaires. Do we have any facts, Mr. Abundant? What is the history? What are you basing your assumption on that we indeed can create millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires in this new economy, the fourth industrial revolution of things? And so I point you, by the way, Bitcoin, I reference to Bitcoin, which is a digital virtual currency that was created in 2009 that uses peer-to-peer technology to facilitate instant payments. And that is why banks don't like it, because with cryptocurrency, you need no middleman. It's peer-to-peer. You don't have no huge transaction fees, like when you're sending money to Western Union or MoneyGram, or when you're sending a wire. That is why Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, they don't like it, because they cannot control it. And so Bitcoin was the first one, which is the father of all cryptocurrency. And so TAC is also a cryptocurrency. So now, in 2010, if you and I had purchased $15 when it was at 0.003 cents, because that is what Bitcoin was in 2010, 0.003. Nobody took notice. At least a few that took notice are billionaires today and millionaires, because every government, every politician, every newspaper, everybody was calling it a fake. May I say to you, the media is the greatest weapon of containment, of conditioning. If you want to condition the world, use the media. And the 1%, they control the media. The 1%, they control the media. Now, if you and I had bought $15 worth of Bitcoin in 2010, you would have received 5,000 coins. Now, matter of fact, today, my calculation is based on Bitcoin at a price of $9,147. Today, Bitcoin is $9,400 plus. So this calculation is also very conservative. But nonetheless, look at what you would have had today in US dollars. An investment of $15. You tell Mr. Abundance, what could I have invested 10 years ago using 15 US dollars, 15 US or 40 EC, 9,000 CFA, or about 5,000 Naira. You tell me, what could I invested 5,000 Naira 10 years ago, 9,000 CFA, $40 US, EC, $15 US. What other financial offering, bonds or stocks? There is none. That is why the blue economy will create generational wealth for those who are paying attention. And sad to say, a lot of our PhDs and master students, also bachelors, will be left behind and will work for people who we call dunce. Because it's not in this economy, it's not about how bright you are anymore. It's your financial capital that dictates who you are in this and the future economy. And so you will have PhD students working for DAFs, for students that never even finish high school. Because in this economy is all about common sense investment. Common sense. And so look at what you would have. $15. 18,294,000. No, sorry. 18,294,000,000 Naira. With a 5,000 Naira investment, you're talking about 18,294,000,000. In CFA, you're talking about 27,441,000,000 CFA with just 9,000 CFA, or 123,484,500 Eastern Caribbean. Now, let's look at if you had invested $60. In US, it's 882,940,000 that you would have had today in your possession had you invested $60 10 years ago in Bitcoin. TAC is now being introduced, and let me share my screen as I pause. I know I have TAC information somewhere down there, but as I am here now, let me just bring it in. TAC is now being introduced to you. We are 15 days left in our first round. TAC is a decentralized cryptocurrency, just like Bitcoin, that has the potential even to appreciate greater than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin does not have any team. Where is the team you see on Bitcoin? A matter of fact, Bitcoin is nameless and ownerless. All what we know that some name Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin, some Japanese American, they say. And so we don't know. TAC has an international team of scholars and professionals that came from all over the world in all different disciplines, from Ivy League and non-Ivy League universities, professors of all sorts, and technical advisors. And apart from that, we have management team that represent countries around the world, all the major countries in Africa and in the Americas. Europe are being represented in TAC. And so you have an opportunity now to buy the coins at 25 cents. Bitcoin 10 years ago, I am showing you, and it's a reason why I paused to show you TAC at 25 cents. Don't come back 2-3 years from now taking people make enemy when you see them jiving, when you see where they live, when you see them putting up skyscrapers, building hotels, having their own steamships, having their own airline. Don't be envious of them, because they took common sense, not technical sense decision now, common sense decision, because that is what it will take. So get your TAC coins today. Then the next round of TAC will go, those coins will be at 50 cents after June 13th. So get your coins before June 13th. All right. Now, if you had invested $60 10 years ago in Bitcoin, and I am proving and showing facts, show your facts and figures, Mr. Abundance. How can I become a millionaire in the blue economy? Well, this is what I am showing you, what Bitcoin has done and is doing today, and what TAC will do in the future. A 60 US investment, today you would have had over 73 billion. 176 million naira. 73 billion. 176 million naira. In CFA franc, you would have had 109 billion 764 million CFA franc by just an investment of $60. One professor asked me, when I told him that in Cameroon, what would people have to do to earn that money today? And that is why they show up to work every day to a job, because they can control what they're doing. The more technical you are, is the more likely for you to retire poor, begging your neighbor. Because the pension that you are hoping to receive will not be there. Right now in my country, the last time I heard the director of Social Security, he says that they are on a system as pay as you go. Pay as you go mean as the money is coming in, is going out. There is nothing in reserve for pensioners. And so even the pension that you're now thinking of may not be there. And that is why they keep carrying the age higher and higher. Soon from now, for you to get pension, you're going to be 90 years, because they know by the time you're 90, you're dead. You're dead. And so you have to change your mindset. And so in Antigua now, I would have been receiving over 493 million US dollars if I had invested $60 10 years ago. I wish I knew about Bitcoin. Now, $150 US investment would have, you would have gotten 50,000 Bitcoin, and you will be able to cash out over 457 million US dollars in the USA. 457,350,000. In Naira, we're looking at 182 billion 940 million Naira. In CFA, 274 billion 410 million from 150 US dollars. What is 150 US dollars in CFA? 150 US dollars in CFA, it's about what, 75,000 CFA? It's about 75,000 CFA. 150 US dollars. 75,000 CFA now. You're talking about, with that investment today, you would have been able to cash out 274 billion with a B, with 75,000 Naira, CFA franc investment. That is what, when I say that this blue economy, if you understand it well, it will create, and may I say, how can we arrive at these figures in our lifetime? And the simple answer is, I have said to you in TAC, for example, because some of you will not be able to buy Bitcoin now, but if you want to see that realization in TAC, all you need to do is to invest at least a minimum of 5 US and above, introduce 10% into TAC, and everyone do the same. That's all you need to do. What is so difficult about that? Buy and hold. Very simple. You don't have to go there with a hoe and a cutlass 8 hours a day, sweating. You don't have to be behind of a desk 8 hours and then to be told you need to go home. Some of you are fired without notice. I said the only thing between us and not having 457 million in a couple of years in TAC is because of ignorance. TAC is a vehicle that, if you take seriously, we can do that. We can raise TAC value in a year or two to 9,000 US dollars, because that's all we need to do. Raise the value. And how do you raise the value? By expanding the base, by inviting your friends and families, even your enemies, to take part in TAC, even as low as $5 US. You can buy up to 250,000 TAC. And all you need to do, introduce 10%. How difficult is that? And ask each person to repeat and do the same. You can do that in 1 day, some of you. Some of you can do it in 2 days, in 5 days. Get 5% with a vision like this. No, you prefer to go to a job for 8 hours a day, 10, 12, 20 years, 40 years, retire broke. Here you have a simple mathematical formula that requires unity of purpose. That's all it takes. What do I need to do, Mr. Abundance? Register, hold on to your TAC coins, buy at least $5 US worth of TAC. That's all you need to do. You can buy 100 like some, you can buy 5,000 like some, you can buy 8,000, 9,000 like some people have done. But all the minimum requirement is hold on to your tack. Share your tack with 10 people. Let them do the same like you, and each of them repeat. End of story. End of story. All right. And so if you had purchased $500 worth of tack 10 years ago, Bitcoin 10 years ago, you're looking at 1,524,493,902 US dollars from a mere $500 worth of an unknown coin. In Naira, you're talking about 609,797,560,800 Naira. 609 billion with a B, with $500 in Nigeria. In the CFA country, the Francophone countries, an investment of 500 US would have given you 914 billion. 914 billion. 696,341,210 CFA franc. In my country, it would have given me 4,116,133,535 because our currency, as you can see, it is very strong. It's very strong compared to the Naira and compared to the CFA franc. All right. And finally, because I couldn't even talk about if you had invested 2,000 or 5,000, like some people have already invested in TAP, what your money would have looked like. Some of you would have maybe gone crazy. And so I'm very conservative so that you can go to sleep at night. But it is enough to inform us that artificial scarcity, it is a lie. Poverty is a lie. Poverty is a lack of ideas and creativity. Artificial scarcity is a lie. We are suffering because of our own decision and our mindset. We suffer because we are a divided people. I said it is a Bible principle, a house that is divided is a weakened house. A house that is divided will ever be in financial slavery. If we come together, there is nothing that we cannot achieve. And that is what TAC is calling for, unity of purpose. That is why we were able to bring the coin into existence in the first place, because we had unity. And so had you invested $1,000 in Nigeria, today you will be able to cash out 3,048,996,951 United States dollars. In Naira, 1 trillion. I want you to understand, $1,000 10 years ago investment. Which one of you, if you were told that 10 years ago and you were guaranteed that today you'll be able to do it, how many of you would have turned it down? Some of you who do not have the money, you would have begged, you would have borrowed. Probably some of you would have even stole the money. You have an opportunity in TAC to effect the value of TAC to 9,000. And all what you need to do, get on board. Buy your TAC. Invest a little time. How much time will it take for you to get 10 person on board? When you look back 10 years from now, what would you say? Having an opportunity that could have created generational wealth, but because of ignorance, we continue to suffer. And not only suffer, but because the seed that you plant, you're not planting it for yourself. Your children and children shall reap it. And so with an investment of $1,000 10 years ago, in Nigeria today, you'll be able to cash out 1,219,958,780,400 naira. In Cameroon, 1,829,398,170,600 CFA franc. You tell me, 1,000 US, what could you have invested 10 years ago with 1,000 US in Cameroon, and today would have worth 1,829,000,000,000 CFA? Ask yourself the question, and don't take my word for it. Go on the web, do your research. What was the price of Bitcoin in 2010? And what is the price today? A matter of fact, you will get a greater figure, because the figures that I use, Bitcoin is much higher today than those figures. And so what I am telling you is an undervalued statement to the true reality of what Bitcoin is today. And that is why I'm saying TAC has the same equal potential and greater potential, because TAC has a management team, TAC has advisory team, TAC has directors and leadership in all major countries. TAC radio and television is about to take stream to go live around the world. We have social programs, we have mission. We have everything. So can you imagine a coin that has nothing, that goes with the wind, can appreciate that much? What about a coin that is under management, that you can go in the register of Antigua and pull out the registration and incorporation of its legal position? What about TAC? And so in my country, you're talking about 8 billion US dollars. 8 billion EC. 232,291,000. I'm talking now to my Antiguans. This is what you would have had today, you and I, had we invested 2,700 EC dollars. That $1,000 in your account 10 years ago still remain 1,000 US. A matter of fact, because they would have taken every month service charge for the bank, it would not be 1,000 anymore. It would be less, and it will still remain 1,000. But look, if you had put it in an unknown coin, a coin that people were calling a scam, today it would accrue to 8 billion. You tell me, what could you and I in Antigua 10 years ago invested $1,000 US in, and today 10 years later have over $8 billion of 8 billion of real money. 8 billion of real money. And so, Mr. Abundance, what is Antigua position? This is Antigua crypto regulation. Bill passes the law parliament. Antigua and Barbuda take steps toward becoming a crypto-friendly destination in the Caribbean. The Prime Minister, oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Let me share my screen. The Prime Minister, at least, he have his head on with this one. This one, he has his head on. Antigua's crypto regulation bill passes lower parliament. Antigua and Barbuda take steps towards becoming crypto-friendly destination in the Caribbean. And I will go into more details another time. I am just saying to my fellow citizens of Antigua and Barbuda, with the introduction of cryptocurrency in Antigua, any person now can become a millionaire. With the introduction of cryptocurrency laws in Antigua, I said anyone can become a millionaire in TAC. Now, let's see what the other countries are saying. Germany, France, India, Wyoming. Where are they going? Germany a couple months ago acknowledges Bitcoin as a financial instrument, and Bitcoin is the first, so you will always hear about Bitcoin. But Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, they're all cryptocurrencies, but at different value. And TAC is the latest entrance into the global industry in the blue economy. I must say to you that TAC is the first coin to come out of Antigua and Barbuda. TAC is the first in many areas. The first to come out of Antigua and Barbuda, the OECS, the wider Caribbean. The first to be created from a visionary communities of persons across continent, black, yellow, blue, white, straight hair, nappy hair, brown hair, black hair, gray hair, all the hairs. TAC has no color. And today, we are public having our first round, 15 more days. The coin now is at 25 cents. By June 14, this coin now goes to 50 cents. So $1 now buys you 4. After June, that same dollar buys you 2 coins. So get your coins. Now, Germany acknowledged Bitcoin. You have here Bitcoin recognized by as money in France. You have the Court of India, the Supreme Court of India lifts RBI crypto ban. So what that meant is that the Supreme Court, it says today, struck down a ban imposed by the RBI on banks from allowing their system to be used for cryptocurrency related payments in 2018. The RBI ban applied only to the use of banking channels for cryptocurrency. And so the court says what you guys are doing is unconstitutional, and they just opened the gate for person to transact cryptocurrency using their banks. So that is where they're going. Now, Wyoming passes bill to recognize cryptocurrency. That is in the USA. You have Louisiana. Okay, I am not seeing this. Louisiana is also doing the same thing. All right, with where by the way, this is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at $9,428. That is today's price of Bitcoin in United States dollars. that you can cash out in the United States, that you can buy in the United States. So, as I wrap up this, Louisiana, okay, it says here, Louisiana State Senate to consider crypto business licensing bill. So every city and country is going into one direction. Antigua has done it. And so all what I'm telling my friends in Antigua, you do not need to wait for anybody, any government to buy digital asset. Digital asset, a lot of us in Antigua has cryptocurrency, has Bitcoin and other coins. Other coins. I have over $1 billion in crypto asset. And so this is why I am saying to you, the blue economy will see some new millionaires in the space. Thank you very much, Mr. Cyril, Victoria. Thank you very much. Welcome to the house. Christopher, greetings to you. Is this Christopher that was arrested in Ghana? I don't know if I don't think you're the Christopher, but we really want to appreciate you, for your steadfastness in sharing the abundance coin. Trisha there, our executive coordinator for Namibia. Good evening to you. Lisika, our rising star down there in South Africa, who create all those banners. Yes, good evening to you. Good evening to the Tiashans in the house. Good evening, sir. The Tiashans in the house. Rubarika Bernard out there out of Burundi, our global ambassador, Mr. Gabriel. Yes, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Abundance Tiashan in the house. Yes, Stephen. All right. And so I want to thank each and every one of you to join Mr. Abundance today. It's always a pleasure. Oh, we have Mr. N4, our coordinator out of France. Good evening, Mr. Abundance and the Tiashan in the house. Our future in tag is assured. Believe it or not, my mind is set for greatness. Amen. And lastly, Johnny the Bank. I want to thank all of you who have joined us and who will see this video recording. It's always a pleasure. This is Mr. Abundance saying, according to Zig Ziglar, you are where you are because of what have entered your mind, what have conditioned your mind. But you are where you are who you are and where you are. However, you can change who you are and where you go from here by what you allow to go into your mind. No, you cannot use Bitcoin to purchase that coin. You have to use BTC. So that Bitcoin that you see in your the Bitcoins that you see, that's Byway coin. If you were listening to my audio, I said the CEO says you can keep those coins, but you will receive your TAC coins as well. So if you have not received them yet, you will eventually receive your TAC referral bonuses. But those are Bitcoin, and you cannot use them to buy TAC coin. You can only use Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin to actually buy TAC coin. All right. And so we want to thank the house. Thank you, Madam Cynthia, our deputy executive coordinator out there in the Bahamas. It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much. Good evening.